listening to Freshly Squeezed.
Well, the rule was if you knew how to play the instrument, you weren't allowed on the track. So we just did everything, we did everything live. We just like every song had different players on.
Hello, Happy New Year and welcome to the very first Freshly Squeezed of 2026. We go into another new year with the plan to help you discover your next favourite band over the next 12 months, every week introducing you to a load of brilliant new artists within the UK and sometimes beyond as well. I'm Jim, nice to have you with me, and don't forget there are brand new social media channels to check out for Freshly Squeezed as well. You might have noticed our bold new look. Well, there's bold new social channels as well to check out. Squeezedcast is who you need to follow on X, on Instagram, and on TikTok for extra Freshly Squeezed content. And hang on, did I just say TikTok? I did, didn't I? TikTok. Anyway, if you do want to get in touch with us, if you want to submit a tune or anything like that, that is the best way to do it as well. So, what is on this week's show? In a little bit, we're going to hear from a Liverpool singer-songwriter called Paul Askew, who will change any preconceptions you might have as to the type of music singer-songwriters should be making. More of this in a bit. I can feel it is when you're caught. Plus, we're going to hear from a band that is one for fans of the likes of Arctic Monkeys and Cortinas. They've got that northwest indie sound. They're called Mantel, and they sound like this. Stuck in crew and I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing than talking to you. Stuck in crew and the most interesting thing on this platform is you alone. More on them later as well, but we're going to kick off first with a man who has been backed by none other than legendary indie icon Pete Doherty. Before we hear from Max Bianco himself, we'll hear a little bit of his brand new tune, the very appropriately titled It's Cold Outside. I wanna go outside just to feel the air, although my pockets feel so light. There's nothing left in there, I feel like David against Goliath without my sling. I've done a tough fight, although it's suicide. I never thought I'd beg just to get by. It's cold outside, and it's raining inside. It's cold outside, but it's raining inside. It's too much for me. That's brand new from Max Bianco. It's called It's Cold Outside, and on Freshly Squeezed, I have Max Bianco on the pod. Welcome, sir.
How you doing, Jim? You all right?
Congratulations on the new tune, It's Cold Outside, but also congratulations on surviving the recent tour with Baby Shambles. You've come back unscathed.
You know what? I was actually really chilled, actually. Like, everybody was well behaved, and it was, I was one of the gigs, I was in bed by midnight.
Oh, wow. Well, do you know what? As a 46-year-old man, midnight still sounds pretty hedonistic. I was going to say, what's the protocol after kind of a tour like that? Do you need a week in a darkened room and kind of week to chill out? Or are you straight back at it with, like, come back inspired and want to write songs and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think I'm more energetic, actually. Like, I think it's because it flies over so quick, you can't believe you just done it, you know? So I think you just try and fill that time up with the creativity, you start oozing out and you start writing more songs and, you know, reflect on it a little bit, but not too much. I think, you know, it's easy just to sit there and feel like the accomplishment, and, you know, I think I'd probably get distracted if I thought about it too much.
Well, Pete Doherty is a fan himself. That's why he got you on the road in the first place. He described you as the last true troubadour and working class hero we've been waiting for. Coming from an iconic singer-songwriter like him, that must feel like a pretty special endorsement to kind of get that sentence said about you.
Yeah, he is. Like, if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have been a songwriter in the first place. So to have my main inspiration, my first ever idol, I guess, is having him in my wings all the time and wanting me to go out and perform them all the time is pretty unique and special. I think not many people get to meet their heroes, let alone be friends with them, you know. And he's just one of the sweetest people I've ever met. In terms of the working class thing, do you feel that that is an underrepresented voice at the moment, that it's just too hard for genuine working class people to make it in music if you've not got a bit of cash in the bank or not got your mum and dad kind of giving you somewhere to live or good backing from somewhere? Is it just too challenging to make a noise in the space right now? Yeah, I think so. I think you haven't got enough access to resources to get out there. I remember when lockdown struck, and a lot of musicians obviously came about because people didn't had a lot of time on their hands. And it felt like I was the only person who was songwriting at the time who couldn't afford any of the equipment to do it. But I felt a bit isolated on that front. I was there's no access to any of those things. But at the same time, I just decided to just live stream pretty much every day and just from my phone in the woods and just play a few songs with people. And to this day, people still thank me for that. Actually, it's quite nice and people I remember that stuff. But yeah, the access for the underdogs not very easy to find.
How do you think that working class identity impacts the music you're making?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think I've met a few people who've had like less struggles in their life. Let's say I don't know. I find my life normal, and they find my life, completely insane. But I also find their lives pretty insane. You can only understand what you're used to, I guess.
One way I think it comes across, take new tune, It's Cold Outside. I think it feels, whether consciously or unconsciously, it feels kind of rough around the edges, from the little fry that's on the guitar track to elements of it seem slightly off. And I wonder whether that was a conscious thing, whether like it was like a reflection of you, it feeling rough and authentic to a certain extent.
I think that's just because I'm impatient in the studio. I do about one or two takes and that's it. But
I love that because music is so polished now. The fact it's not, and it's a good thing it's not polished. And you do get some people that almost reverse engineer that, where they kind of build in that grit. But it felt like it was genuinely part of the process for this.
Oh yeah, we used these really old. I can't remember what Jason called them. These old I think like a preamp for the mic. We had like an old 50s ribbon mic, and we basically recorded as much songs as we could in the first 2 days. And like, if the rule was by the end of it, if you knew how to play the song on the instrument, you weren't allowed on the track. So we just did everything. We did everything live. We just like every song had different players on it. It's just you can kind of feel the energy off it. Really, like it's just the unpredictability. Nobody knew what was going to happen next. Really.
So you're from the northeast of England. You can hear that in your voice, obviously, but you're not based there now. Why did you make the decision to move out of the northeast?
I think the town I'm from is full of really good people, but it's full of a big narrow mindset. And I think staying there, you're not going to get very far. And I saw that at a young age. I was like, I just needed to do anything to get out of there, really. And being a musician up there, it's easy to fall into a clique. But I've always liked to wake up in a new town every day, in a new city, and explore the world in a big adventure with no plans, really. So I just thought, there's more voice down the south, there's more people down there, there's more musicians down there. I tried to move to London a while ago, but I ended up in Cambridge for a long time. And I fell in love with the folk scene there, like a lot of the singer-songwriters around that area, which I got a bit too comfortable with after a while. So I decided to jump again into the city. Speaking
of musical changes, you used to be Max Bianco and the Blue Hearts. You're now Max Bianco, 100% solo. Well, you mentioned you've got some people in the studio with you. So are they kind of session musicians? Is it a proper band? How's that working? Yeah, I've basically extended the Blue Hearts, so because everybody's quite busy. They're all full-time musicians. It's like these days they've got their own projects going on. I'd be gutted if any of the band members turned down their own gig to come and play in one of our gigs. So basically, I grew the Blue Hearts to a few more members, so we can still put the show on regardless of who turns up on the night. So it made sense to drop the title, the Blue Hearts, and then because nobody knows who's actually in the band. I don't think I know who's in the band anymore. I mean, you could be in the band, I think, Jim. Do you want to be definitely in it? Not. How does that change the dynamic then when you're stepping on stage? Does it feel the same every time, or does it depend who you got with you to kind of what happens and what kind of show you get?
Again, I get impatient when it comes to rehearsals. Not in a bad way. I just feel like working on a production line. So we have this thing where I trust the musicians enough that we don't rehearse, and the gigs seem to work really well. So it's just we turn up and basically whoever can make the gig, we all kind of know the songs, I guess, and then we just go for it because we don't know what's going to happen next. The audience kind of feed on that and enjoy it too. Like we enjoy it as much as the audience, I guess.
So from what I can tell, Max, is you're a big fan of a hat.
Oh yeah.
Question for you.
Yep.
If you could have one hat from the pantheon of great rock and roll hats in the world, which hat would it be? I want one clear choice. I'm thinking like Run DMC's Adidas caps or Axl Rose's bandana or something like that. What hat would it be?
Oh, Dylan's 1975 white round hat with the feathers and flowers in it.
Oh, I know exactly the one you mean. Kind of like a fedora number, isn't it? A cross between a fedora and a pork pie.
Yeah, it's like a massive Panama thing, like a gambler's hat.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. But I'd go for that one easy. Like the colour grey as well, man. The exact hat.
Classic hat. Do you know what? When I wrote that question, I was like, is Max going to get on board with this? Is he going to think about it? You're straight in there. You're like, yes, I don't know. I've thought about this before, Jim. This is the hat I want.
Yeah, sat and looked at loads of pictures of it. What about yourself? What would you pick?
Oh, God, I hadn't even considered it myself. Could you really go wrong with Slash from Guns N' Roses mirrored top hat?
Oh,
you probably couldn't wear it to the pub on a Saturday.
But I still would. To be fair, I think you'd pull it off as well.
Maybe I'll get that at some point. Max, pleasure to speak to you. Really nice to meet you, mate. Really enjoying the
Likewise,
new tune.
Jim.
It's cold outside. We're going to play it on Freshly Squeezed, but nice one for chatting. I never wanted to be Loving that from Max Bianco. Another singer-songwriter next on Freshly Squeezed. We're going to hear something from Paul Askew, his brand new tune in a minute, but let's speak to the man himself before we do that. You're right, Paul.
Hi, Jim. You all right?
I'm very good. Good to have you on. You're labelled as a singer-songwriter, and it's your name above the door, but musically, I have certain preconceptions. When I hear singer-songwriter and I listen to a tune, I expect a certain sound. And I'd say with you, I don't necessarily get that. I'm getting very much a band sound. So why is this a solo project and not a band project?
It's a good question. Firstly, I know exactly what you mean. Like most of these singer-songwriters, you expect more of an acoustic, less instrumentation approach. But to me, I like just making the song as big as it can be if it requires that. But yeah, I'm solo, not a band project, because I sort of tried being in a band a few years back. Started a band when I was about 19, 18. And it was difficult to find members first and foremost, as it is for any band. And I just found the dynamic for me creatively was a bit limiting. I totally respect the way bands have a kind of more democratic approach and stuff. But with myself, when I was bringing the songs in, I kind of wanted a lot of my ideas to remain intact. And with the band I use now for recording, and like on a Sunday and on the live gigs, there's a lot of ideas which I'll welcome in the rehearsal sessions of the studio, which if I like them. But I think the differences with being in a band and solo is when you're solo, you can say what you want and people respect that. So it was more of a case of I was passionate about quite a few ideas sticking. So I just chose to go solo. And there wasn't really any falling out with like the band. It was just, I found it wasn't really fitting. So that's why I went solo, basically just to keep some of the ideas I wanted, just to be creatively selfish.
Are you basically saying that you're a bit of a dictator? You're like the Kim Jong-un of the musical world?
In a good way. Yeah.
Kim Jong-un, but in a good way.
I'm the nicest one. Our sessions are our studio sessions and rehearsals are very professional and very friendly. And there's no shouting or there's no, boozing or swearing. So it's all very good. And, if someone's got a great idea and I like it, then it just because it's their idea doesn't mean I won't put it in. So yeah, it works in that sense, you know what I mean? But I just like having the final say because I care a lot about it, really.
Well, it sounds like it's working for you. And interestingly, recently you've supported a man who's gone the other way in recent times. James Walsh, formerly, well, actually now currently again of Star Sailor, but he kind of was in Star Sailor, went solos, went back again. Incredible songwriter, I think. How much did you learn from him sharing a bill and kind of sharing the road with him for a bit?
That was great, that. Yeah, he's a great singer as well as songwriter, really good singer. And I suppose I got a bit of inspiration in terms of watching a set after I played. It was inspiring. I think I actually wrote a song kind of like in the vein of a few of his he was playing with the kind of singing approach as well. But yeah, just how to hold the crowd and, just remaining just professional, even if you just use an acoustic guitar. Because the sort of power he delivers and how he captivates people with just the guitar and his voice is very inspiring. So when I was watching him after, it was just, I was just taking notes like that and watching the crowd react, and the crowd were great as well. It was more just a kind of experience, really, and it was nice playing to new people and signing autographs after, which was mad on on the posters people were buying. So that was cool, getting some photos.
How does that feel when you sign your first one of those, when you get your first autograph? And have you worked on your signature before that point, or are you just basically doing what's on the back of your credit card?
Well, yeah, just the back of your credit card stuff, isn't it? Just like, or when you're a kid doodling it. But I've got terrible handwriting, so every time I do the signature, I kind of take my time a bit. But yeah, I was just buzzing, really. It was nice. It's nice to get, every artist likes getting the first, like, if someone's taking the time, particularly when you support them, to watch your sets, but then also after, giving you some positive praise, or just coming up and speaking to you, buying you a pint or something. So yeah, I was just buzzing and just happy to mingle with everyone after. Yeah, so it's a special feeling. You know what I mean? It is very special. Like,
in terms of inspirations, if you see your bio, there's a few names in there: David Bowie, Nirvana, The Smiths, The Beatles, all quite retro references.
Yeah.
What I took from that, and I might be completely wrong here, but I took that there's a potential influence of someone else's record collection, maybe an older relative in your formative musical years.
Yeah, you hit the nail there. Yeah, it was mostly my dad. It's from, to be honest, car journeys when I was a kid, going to like Scotland and Wales, and he'd put on Nirvana or the Beatles or even Metallica, the Smiths. And as a kid, to be honest, I wasn't musical, and I wasn't really taking notice of, in terms of, I wasn't singing along or really enjoying it sometimes, but it was still going in. And I think later in life, I don't think it's a coincidence that I liked quite a few of them later in life, because they must just seem familiar, and from what I know as a youngster. But yeah, so it's my dad. He's to blame, really, for all the havoc now. Yeah.
Let's talk about the new tune, Asunder. I had to Google the meaning of Asunder, by the way. It feels like a slightly new sound from what you've done before. Not a massive shift, but maybe a little bit more grittier. Is this a taste of what's to come from you in the future? Is this a new thing you're trying?
Kind of the opposite, to be honest, Jim. So
okay.
I've seen it described by people as well as being a bit, which in a good sense, is a bit unpolished and gritty. And that was actually what we aimed for in the studio. For instance, how the song starts, they kind of just start like I did watch a live set. It's just straight into it. Because I thought about an intro and that, but I just thought of just starting it just almost like at a gig. So that was a conscious approach, to keep it quite dry and gritty, and not many effects and stuff. There is a lot of layers of guitars and that, but there's no synths on it, nothing like that. In terms of the what's to come, I see this as kind of, even though I hate having to describe what kind of genre or style I am, I see this as kind of, not the last, but the last maybe for a bit of kind of like the indie kind of rock tunes I'm doing, because the last one was a bit like that as well, just what you want. So I think the next one, because I write lots of different songs, might be something a bit more left field, maybe. I'm not sure what it will be yet, but I'll probably just have to look over my songs and see, what one will do. But yeah, it's still a great song, obviously, but I think I'm just looking to do something a bit different next time, just because that's what it's about, I think, as a creative, Yeah, so it's the opposite way.
Okay. Paul, lovely to meet you. I'm looking forward to seeing on your posters in the future the King Geelong of indie rock. I want to see that on your tour posters going forward.
They're the headline.
Yeah, loving the new tune. We're going to get it on Freshly Squeezed, but cheers for chatting.
Cheers, Jim. Nice one.
'Cause I believe in the magic wonders, even though that we're now asunder. 'Cause I believe in the magic wonders, even though that we're now asunder. 'Cause I believe in the magic wonders, even though that we're now asunder. 'Cause I believe in the magic wonders, even though that we're now. Yes, I believe. 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 Yeah, I believe.
2 down, 1 to go on Freshly Squeezed. You've had Max Bianco, you've had Paul Askew. Well, we're going to finish off with the indie rock band from the Northwest, Mantel, next, whose brand new tune is called Stuck in Crew, which anyone who has ever been on a Virgin Pendolino will get instant kind of emotional connections just to that title. But to find out a little bit more about the tune and the band themselves, I've got Ted from Mantel on Freshly Squeezed. Welcome to the podcast, Ted.
Thank you very much.
Before we get stuck in, I just want to ask you a few questions, get a bit of a feel of who you are as a band. So these are quick questions, I want quick reactions. Don't think too much about them, just instant thoughts, okay?
Cool.
Sing-along choruses or epic guitar solos?
Choruses.
Intimate acoustic or massive stadium gig?
Stadium gig.
Crowds pogoing along or lighters in the air?
Lighters in the air.
Okay. Well, that gives an indication of where you are musically. Is that based on being on stage or is that based on being in the crowd? Or are they one and the same thing for you? Is the Mantles the band that you would want to see playing live?
Well, I think it kind of like lighters in the air and stadiums. I'm a massive Cortinas fan, and they're very much now like they obviously still stick around with some acoustic sets, but they're mostly big, catchy choruses. Everyone's got their phones out.
Good time party band.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you mentioned the Cortinas as a band. You're from that kind of area based in the northwest of England, but the origin story is a little more exotic. Seed sown whilst you were backpacking in Thailand, I understand.
Yeah, so that's our guitarist Jacob and our drummer Jude. They bumped into each other out there, and we live about 45 minutes away back home, so it was a complete coincidence. And then one of our pals, well, George, actually, the bassist, and then one of Jude's friends actually had a boxing match out there.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it was very random that we all kind of bumped into each other out there.
In terms of the new tune, Stuck in Crew, it feels a long way from sandy beaches and palm trees. Sonically, it's very based in the northwest of England, I think. Geographically as well, particularly for this one, Crewe being a railway hub around that way and a place where many train journeys come to an end. But the use of Crewe here, we're talking metaphors rather than an ode to British transport, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's kind of like, if you thought you were on a path, maybe with like a relationship or a situation you thought it was going somewhere, then it gets stopped by, something that you can't control, that kind of thing.
What I get from the title is kind of a feeling of helplessness and a feeling of abandonment. Is that something you very much wanted to get across in the song itself?
Yeah, absolutely. It is like obviously based from certain situations and whatnot, but ultimately I was picking up my girlfriend from Crewe because she got stuck there, and then the title came from there because me and my dad were rhyming in a I can't remember his name now. The poet with the funky hair.
John Cooper Clarke?
Yeah. So we were rhyming to each other whilst we were driving there in that sort of manner. Then we were like, hang on, that's might be something there actually.
It's got a big, crunchy, Royal Blood-esque guitar intro, this song, and then it kind of spins into what I think kind of is a nod to maybe early Arctic Monkeys in its vocals. Are they bands that very much you guys have on your radar or on your inspiration list?
Yeah, 100%. I was kind of, with the sort of switch up in it, I was going for a very like humbug-esque sort of vibe from Arctic Monkeys. And Jude is massive into his Royal Blood. So that's where the dead crunchy drums kind of come from.
Well, the Arctic Monkeys, there's a connection with the John Cooper Clarke thing there as well. So it all kind of works, all comes full circle. I know this tune was going to feature on the new EP. Now, if you check out your kind of Spotify bio and whatnot, it says the new EP is coming 2025. Here we are, beginning of 2026. No new EP yet. Where are we at with that?
So the EP will be coming in February. I think we just got a little bit excited for thinking it would come out for in 2025. Or as Jude's done many a time, it's either a input mistake because we love to mess up dates on promotions. But yeah, it's coming out February.
Is this tune an indication of how that record is going to sound as a whole? Is this the musical direction for that EP?
Absolutely. And our previous single, Pearl, is like they're kind of at either ends of the sort of vibe that we're going for. But I think heavy alternative is the sort of genre.
Ted, really enjoying the new tune Stuck in Crewe. Really enjoying Mantel as well. A new musical discovery for me, and it's nice to make them this early on in the year. But nice one. Cheers to coming on Freshly Squeezed. We'll get the new tune on.
Great. Thanks very much.
You speak nothing but poison directed towards me, so unclean. Ulcers in your mouth from the grit that you swallow. Shift your weight from foot to foot as you try to slip away. But then again, the matter of fact is nobody here cares. Stuck in Crewe and I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing than talking to you. Stuck in Crewe, and the most interesting thing on this platform, it's you.
And like I said, new music discovery for me. I've kicked off this year by discovering a brand new band. Hopefully, by listening to today's show, you have done the same. Come back next week, more artists, more brilliant new music. Maybe in 2026 you will discover your next favourite band via Freshly Squeezed. Also, mentioned it earlier, get following our social media accounts if you've not already, at SqueezedCast on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok. Links in the podcast description, along with links to all the bands you've heard on today's podcast if you fancy discovering more. Cheers for your ears. See you next week.
The award-winning Freshly Squeezed, a new music podcast, was devised, produced and hosted by Jim Salveson. Sound design and additional production by Ant McKinley. Theme music, Blue Blazer, is written and produced by Spin Class. Stop.